It all started innocently enough. I glanced over at our salon entrance just as two girls were trying to shove through the door at the same time. Don't mind us, we've just been doing that since we were little girls. They giggled, half expecting us to join in, only to be met with blank stares and a few suppressed eye rolls. The tall, willowy blonde who managed to get through the door first was still laughing when she looked at me and she said, "I don't have an appointment, but I desperately need my nails done. Can you fit me in?" She looked a little too much like Laura Dern, but acted like someone who might ask her waiter to send back her soup for being too soupy. I was not amused by their antics and suddenly felt like a little mousy brown-haired pipsqueak. But I said a little too loudly, "Sure, you're in luck," because I just had a cancellation. As the willowy blonde sat down, I asked her name, and she said it was Tara, which I repeated as Kara. She corrected me with a tone that assured me that I was dealing with a Tara with a T. Somewhere in the back of my mind, this name sounded recently familiar, but I couldn't quite place it. Smiling as polite as possible, I decided to keep my old grandmother name of Florence to myself. And she never asked. So, doing my best to sound sincere, I asked Tara, "Do people tell you you look like Laura Dern?" "Yes," said Tara, was her quick response. "We're both 5'11", and she also added that the resemblance guaranteed her and whoever she was with instant entrance to any nightclub they wanted. Trying to keep things light, I said, "That must make you very popular with your friends." She said, "Absolutely." So, hair salons somehow induce total conversational comfort for women. They let loose with whatever's going on in their lives. The go-to subject for most girls are their boyfriends, and Tara was no different. By the sounds of it, Tara was quite enamored with hers, explaining that he was 6'3", which she loves because she can feel comfortable wearing heels when they go out. I was not impressed because my boyfriend was also 6'3", but I decided to ask a few of the standard questions. How long have you been together? How did you meet? Turns out they'd been together for 4 months. She met him through her father. They were drinking buddies at the same bar around the corner from her father's jewelry store. Feeling encouraged, Tara added she was sure he was the one. Tara continued describing how she had even recently designed a beautiful gift for him that her father made at his jewelry store. Apparently, it was a big hit and he loved it. She called it their 4-month anniversary gift. After a few moments of silence, Tara, with a far-off look in her eye, shared with me her concern over a trip that her boyfriend recently made to Las Vegas, as he loves to gamble. I was getting a strange feeling not unlike a déjà vu. I couldn't help but ask, "When did he go?" "Last weekend," she replied. Snap! I sat there in disbelief, staring at her red nail that I now held in my hand. I had never done that before. "I'm so sorry, I'll fix it." Tara jerked her hand back and said, "You better." My momentary lapse in control stemmed from the fact that my boyfriend had also been in Las Vegas last weekend, but he went for business. I didn't mention this to Tara, as apparently her boyfriend had made this trip to Las Vegas with a friend, a girl named Michelle. She lamented that he was adamant about the fact that this Michelle girl was just a friend. Because, you know, all those boyfriends you have who decide to go to Las Vegas with just one other person who's of the opposite sex that you barely know. No red flags there. As it turned out, Tara had more misgivings, which had to do with the fact that the one also rented a Corvette and stayed in a suite at the Mirage. He explained that the suite had separate bedrooms. I started to wonder if she was actually comforted by that information. Tara was not quite sure how he got the money for such luxuries because he never seemed to spend that kind of money on her. I was getting the feeling that Tara really wanted to believe this guy. Plus, she said, because he was so generous with the details, how could he be lying? Lovely Tara, turning uglier, continued to get very worked up about the whole trip to Las Vegas thing with Michelle, and was now deciding whether to confront him about it. Good luck with that, I thought, while I shaped her long, lovely Laura Dern nails. I was torn between yelling at her to be honest with herself and sympathizing with her mistrust. Because at this point, my boyfriend and I had been together 3 years. We have a beautiful daughter. And he was always the funny, handsome, fun guy that the girls just love, and he would eat it up. A perfect example would be while we were at the hospital, when I was in labor, I was walking up and down the corridors while he had all the nurses laughing and chatting at their station. I could have sworn he asked one of the nurses for her phone number. As for me, I had to get back to childbirth, so I let that one go. Recently, I'd had my suspicions. The nurse thing was just the beginning. But everything he always told me seemed to check out, even though I could never seem to shake the feeling that he was lying. Just the other day, when we were moving into a new apartment and unpacking, on the kitchen counter was a beautiful gold money clip with a tiger-sized quartz in it. I'd never seen it, and I asked him where it came from. He said it was from an old girlfriend from years ago. Well, how come it looks brand new? I demanded. I just found it in a bottom of a box. I haven't seen it for years. Relax. Oh, okay. Well, this explanation seemed plausible at the time. While trudging on with our relationship, mostly for our daughter, I frustratingly found myself just wanting to catch him once and for all. By habit, I started tuning Tara's ranting out until she mentioned that this boyfriend of hers also had a baby with this other girl, but it's totally nothing. They just have a baby together. Snap! Went another one of Tara's precious fingernails. Hey, what the hell are you doing? She yanked her hand out of my grasp, and I held it, and she held it up in front of her, turning it back and forth. I'm really sorry about that. I was trying to sound sincere. I reached for her hand and held it again, this time a little tighter. Now, what did you say your boyfriend's name was? With a very red face, Tara cried, I never told it to you in the first place. Jesus Christ, what is your problem? Now really gripping her hand and about to snap nail number 3, I looked Tara dead in the face and I hissed, what is your boyfriend's name? Steve Lewis. My boyfriend's name is Steve Lewis. Snap went nail number 3. My heart instantly sank into an emotional gut punch, my brain shooting off hot fireworks. Of course, the money clip, I thought. Love, Tara, the engraving had said on the back of the clip. Tara, the old girlfriend from years ago. I looked down at the sharp implement in my hand and I thought, who would blame me? Quickly coming to my senses, I hastily excused myself from my new customer, and I walked to the back of the salon, heading straight into the little bathroom, trying to catch my breath as I swung the door shut. Safely inside, I stood at the basin and turned on the sink. The running water swirling down the drain symbolized my life and somehow smoothed the rapid thoughts ping-ponging in my head. I glanced at my reflection in the mirror, and I saw a girl who was both shocked and relieved. Then I opened my fist and stared down at the 3 bright red fingernails in my hand. I had been searching for proof that Steve was a liar. Well, now I was literally holding it in my hand. Maybe Tara deserved a thank you. Do I tell her that I'm the girl that Steve had the baby with, who was nothing to him? Do I keep my mouth shut, finishing up her manicure, repairing the 3 snap nails free of charge, then letting her go on her way, still thinking Steve, the miscreant, was still the one? Walking back from the bathroom, I could see that Tara's back was still at the entrance, and she was unaware that my dad, who had been babysitting, had just come through the door carrying my 2-year-old daughter, Amy. Flo, hi, he called out, a little embarrassed. Sorry, honey. When we talked last, I thought you said that you had a cancellation. We are in the neighborhood, and I thought you might like a quick little daughter visit. I was taken off guard, but so happy, because what I needed right then was a sweet baby love hug. Tara turned in her chair to see who was causing so much happiness. Just as I reached out for my daughter, suddenly Amy, with her heart-shaped cherub face, cried out, Tara! And reached for my new client instead. Tara's face went white with undeniable shock. When our eyes locked, I'm sure that we were both thinking the exact same thing. That motherfucker.
That is a VAMP first timer, Florence Sarah Pollard.